Glesni Ayres, who is the Employer Engagement and Placement Partner at USW. So Glesni, thanks for joining me. Would you like to tell everyone a bit more about what you're doing at the university?
Okay, I work within the University of South Wales Careers team. So as a team, we're here to support our students and our graduates to get into their first graduate role and to progress there. Part of my remit as well is to encourage students to gain work experience while they're here and to link them up with employers. We have careers events and we have work experience, and we'll talk a bit more about that as we go through the interview.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So just to start off, what skills would you say employers are looking for in this day and age to make someone employable?
Well, I think it's a lot of the soft skills as well as the degree that students are gaining. So they're looking for things like communication skills, team working, presentation skills, all of the things that are kind of generally important that students can actually gain from part-time jobs. Obviously, with specific areas of work as well, they need the knowledge and the skills that you gain as part of your degrees. And also work experience is really important as well. It's thinking about your CV and getting an all-rounded CV that displays all of these skills that you've gained, as you get closer to graduating. Yeah, so I think those are the main things.
Okay, and just following on from you mentioning CVs, are there any tips that you might say for somebody to write a good CV?
Yeah, we've got a careers website within USW. So there's some good templates on there. So that's a good starting point. And then it's just making sure it's clear. You've got the main information on there. So your contact details, it's no good without those to begin with. Maybe a personal profile at the top, your education and your most recent one first, any skills, specific skills that will help you in the work area that you're looking for, any work experience, and then a little bit about yourself as well.
Okay, perfect. Um, so in terms of we've spoken about the sort of soft skills that you might need. Are there things that any mistakes that people often make that you would kind of single out and say that people could work on in general?
Yeah, I think it's hard work applying for jobs, so it does take time. And I think a lot of graduates they try and do shortcuts, so they might just copy and paste applications. And I think employers can see if that's the case. So it's about tailoring it. It's about looking at the employer, doing a bit of research, making sure that it's addressed to the right person, maybe finding that person within the organisation if you can, looking at what skills they're asking for and what experience in the job description, and making sure that you cover all of those so that hopefully you'll then gain an interview. We do have a lot of employers that come to us and say they can see when students or graduates have copied and pasted, and that they're just sending the same application out to several employers. So it is really worth spending that little bit of time just to tailor that. All the job descriptions, they's quite clear in what they ask for with the skills. So it is making sure you're picking those out, maybe highlighting them up and, addressing each of those. So it's just taking that little bit of extra time.
Okay, thanks. So just to kind of narrow it down a bit more, um, obviously I'm doing sports journalism and this is for our project. So if I were to come to you as a sports journalist or a journalist in general, is there anything specific to that industry that you think you might be able to shed some light on?
Um, I think the main thing is trying to get that work experience. It it shows you've kind of gone out there and got that extra experience, that you've started to gain those extra skills. It's also building your network. So maybe having a look to see if there's any networking groups or if you can connect with people on LinkedIn, just to start building that network of yours. Because sometimes, jobs are not actually advertised openly. Sometimes it's about, the connections that you have and whether they recommend you for those. We've had students go to various organisations on work experience, and they're actually then invited back to do a bit more work or freelancing. So it's a good way to get your foot in the door, to go along, impress them, show them what you can do. Obviously, you have to have good, journalist skills. So it's showing that you're not scared to go out there and meet people to get those stories, um, good writing or, kind of video, whichever you want to specialize in, and just having, having a portfolio as well to show examples of your work. Because I think certainly in the creative industries, portfolio or examples of work is really important. And also it's kind of having a look at your CV, and from any work experience you've had is making sure you pick out those skills and that you're constantly updating that as well.
Okay. Um, and then just in terms of the future, really, I guess, is there anything that you see, um, is there any ways that you see employability changing, kind of skills that are emerging that people might need to become more familiar with over the next few years? For example, people didn't have to work from home before necessarily, and now that's becoming more of a commonplace thing.
Yeah, well, we're certainly seeing more hybrid and remote working now in certain industries. I think the big change that we've got coming is AI, and
Mm.
how that will affect certain sectors. I think within the creative industries, we'd hope that AI won't take on too much, but we're already seeing, AI putting together some news stories. I'm not sure how successful that is. So hopefully, kind of that might be something that will turn out that it isn't successful, and that we'll still need plenty of journalists. And certainly, if somebody, sports journalists on the side of a pitch, I don't think you can replicate that with AI.
Mhm.
But I think that will have a change on jobs and the industry going forward.
Yeah, for sure. And just one final question. Obviously, we're coming up to the end of the academic year. Is there anything that you think, not just sports journalism students, any students in general, can do over the summer in terms of helping them become more employable when they do finish university?
Yeah, well, what I'd, kind of again say is have a look at our careers website, get your CV drawn up. We've got the templates there, we've got draft CVs, we've got the sections that you need to complete. So have a start at doing that. We've also got careers consultants that you can book in with to go over your CV. Maybe start drafting your LinkedIn account if that's something that you haven't got at the moment, because you can then start linking with your tutors, with industry. You can see who your tutors are connected to, and maybe reach out to get an introduction. And also, students have got quite a long summer. I mean, obviously, you want to have a break and, maybe go away, but actually there's some time there maybe to get some work experience, to start thinking about, what you might want to do past graduation. Your final year will actually go really quickly. So I think the more you can do over the summer now to get ready to start applying for those jobs when you start seeing them advertised, the better. If you're looking at, maybe a graduate scheme and applying for those, they start getting advertised from the autumn term. So if you've got your CVs and, kind of a cover letter drafted and ready to go, you've got that basis already. But yeah, definitely work experience, I'd say, is if you can, try and do a bit of that over the summer, definitely get that so that you're building on those examples that you've got as well.
Yeah, for sure. And just one more thing, you mentioned LinkedIn.
Mhm.
It's something that we've been encouraged to use a bit more recently. Are there any tips you've got on that? I mean, obviously, it's kind of your similar to a CV in terms of what you need on there. Are there any specific ways you can boost your profile on there?
Yeah, so it's quite logical in the setup to kind of work through your profile. So to boost it then is to post things. So if you are going on work experience or covering a story, or doing something as part of your assessment, maybe you can post about it. Maybe you can tag relevant people in there as well. so that people are starting to engage with you. There's groups on there as well that you can follow and join. So industry specific ones. There's jobs as well. So, you can start kind of following certain companies to see when their jobs are released. And it's very much that connections as well. You can also ask people for recommendations on there, which is visible for everyone to see. So you can start doing that with your tutors or any organizations that you do work experience or work with them on a project. So it's starting to build up. It's a little bit like a professional Facebook page, but it's open for anyone to see. You can also search to see where our alumni are. So if there's various organizations that you'd be really interested in going to work for, you can actually see who's working there, and if any of our alumni are there, to maybe reach out to them to ask how they got where they are or any tips that they've got. So again, it's being a bit proactive and reaching out to people, and using it in that way.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you very much for your time, Glesni, and I think we will end it there.
Thank you.
Right. I'll